Hey guys, Master Xeon here, recording another Blender tutorial. Now in this tutorial we're going to be modeling a duck. Now this is actually going to be a two-part series because I'm hoping that I'm able to use it in another tutorial to do a couple of requests that people had emailed me about, but I've been trying to figure out a way to make it an interesting video instead of just that object and that action, which would not be good enough for me.
Move around and extrude.
So let's go ahead and jump in again.
Now,
I'm
this
going to
is
go
some
ahead
pretty
and
basic
pop
rigging
up Firefox
that we're doing here.
because we need a
I'm
reference
hoping that
image
I can
here.
get y'all a tutorial about how to make the cube into a transformer, but that is currently what I'm working on. So I'm just extruding. Let me back up a little bit. I may have. Alright, so I start out with this bone.
Alright, now let's go ahead. I believe Firefox may have loaded up. Let me check my other display. Here we go.
We're not messing with the wing
Let's
yet.
make this full screen, and we're just going to search for
Now what
duck.
we're going to do is Control D,
And,
duplicate.
we're not needing one to copy directly. We just
Scale
need
it down.
just a basic idea of a duck and just for something to go off of while modeling. We got some pretty interesting ducks here. Modeling that would be pretty fun. But we're just going for a simple duck. Maybe one that isn't a drawn duck or copyrighted duck. Outright copyrighted duck. We'll just go with this one right here.
Duplicate it.
Now we're going to save this
And
image.
just put it right here.
Now
And all these bones, we're just
jump
going
over
to
to Blender.
all paint.
And I'm just going to drag this window out and turn it to the UV image editor. And then I'm going to go ahead and drag window down.
This
Image
is
open.
basically just for
Desktop.
rig. So we take this
should be
bone,
one called
we
duck
parent
or
it to this
something.
bone, Control P, keep offset.
And
And we take this bone and we're just going to move it here.
Maybe it came out as a GIF.
Like this.
Save image
And
as.
this.
Oh, okay. Save it to sounds.
Offset.
That's part of another tutorial. So we'll just
disable
click desktop to reload it and choose
Some of these
duck.
bones are intended
Now
to
we got
form
our first
others are
duck
intended
image
just
right
to hold
there,
it.
and we got a little room. We can add another duck. More
You
ducks
see
the
that
better.
We got
Now, this one isn't really
this bone
about the
is like
topology
that.
as much as it
Control
is just.
P, keep offset.
I was
Now,
actually doing this the other day, just
move
goofing
this,
off,
we move
and
the head.
I was amazed with
We
how good it
this,
looks when you just keep going.
It's gonna be moving.
And
if we move this, we can
you know,
pivot
the
it
essentials
up.
of having a good lighting setup, because if I would have lit it poorly, I wouldn't have made it as far as I did in
That's
modeling
pretty much
it.
what I'm asking for here.
Because of usually if a render looks bad, I just get rid of it.
Just
Now I'm pressing
bones
1, going
and,
into side view 5, and we're going to delete the lamp and the camera. I just do it and then put it back. Now, we would normally start out with a sphere to make the head, but we're going to use the cube.
I guess we'll
Hold down
rig the
Control
tail
and press
as
2,
well, so we can
that'll subsurface
his
real
tail
nicely
shape or
into an
something.
all quad sphere.
his tail
Now we're going
flip.
to tab in edit mode, select everything, press space,
And
and
that
choose
should do
the
it.
type 2
Now
sphere.
for the
Now the
leg,
shortcut for that is Control
I'll
S,
just
but
duplicate this bone.
I
rotate
have
it.
always just typed it in.
We're just gonna stick it down.
I should just memorize that short key though.
Drawing
Now
to,
we got our sphere
front
selected.
view.
Hold
Let's move
down
it over and
Control,
make sure
press
it's play.
1. That'll add another subsurf. Hit smooth.
Drag that out.
And then over here, we're going to activate the
Drag
optimal
this
draw.
up.
I mean the
Drag
optimal
that
display
down.
and
Press
apply
W,
modification in
subbody
edit
here.
mode. And if we look
And then we're
here,
gonna
we
press
got
E
our
for slide.
sphere in
And
front.
put
It
it
looks
down.
nice and quad. Now we're
another
going to
thing
just
we're
start
gonna
off
do,
by deleting half of
is
it.
we're going to extrude
And
Y,
we're going to mirror
select
it.
this bone, turn off the
Put the
form,
mirror above the subsurf, turn on clipping, and we
This
get our
bone
nice
is-
little
this bone
setup
is
here.
no longer
So
connected
these three
or
verts right here,
independent,
we're just going to
and
start
that's
off
just
off the
our
bat.
arcade
Alt
for
to
this
select these three
Now
with hold shift,
for
select
this,
the middle one
we're gonna
last,
bring it in like
and I
so.
just choose merge to center.
That up.
Now
Just
these
again.
two faces right here have become tries. Let's merge those back to fix that problem. Now we're going to drag this vert up, and this is going to form just the top bill. Now,
Yeah,
our
we're
duck's
just
going to
gonna
look a
get
little different. It's going to have
slightly
more of a
help with,
cartoony look.
the
So
deformation.
necessarily the reference images aren't as a
And,
guide
you know,
as much
I've
as they
heard
are
someone else say that, and I was
inspiration.
wondering what it meant.
So I'm selecting these three
It basically
verts
means,
here again.
basically, like,
and we're going to merge
I can't
at
avoid
center.
making bones pop. Like in Blender, like the bones tend to just
That was a big
pop on
mistake.
me, and it
All right.
drives me crazy sometimes.
We're just going to leave them.
Now we're going to extrude.
Trying to remember
another bone
exactly
out
how I
from
did this
front,
last time. We're going to
Y,
select these three.
and we're going to also clear
Move
its
it up.
parents.
And select
make sure it's
this,
not connected.
these, and put those up there as well. Now we're just moving these verts, just
Alright,
shaping just the
we go
basic
front view, everything looks fine. We go side view,
topology
everything
just
looks
for the
right.
front.
Now let's
Now,
start setting up some IK.
I might be wrong in the way I'm going
So,
about it, but this is just the way I
Control
did
tab.
it when
Let's
I
select
was making it.
this bone, then this bone.
Shift I.
To active bone.
So
We're gonna
let's go
lower
ahead and
this,
select these two
bone width
faces
by 1,
and
2.
delete them. And now
Alright.
we're looking at this shape right here,
Let's make sure
which looks
that
pretty bad from the
this
side.
bone is
We
parented.
can go into vertex mode.
This
and
bone is the parent
start
of this bone.
straightening
That
up
way,
some of these
if we
vertices.
move
Now we got our
the
basic
main
mouse
body
shape.
controller, we got some action from the
Now what we want to do
and
is
that's about all you can ask for there. Now for this bone is intended to be
let's
a foot
select
controller,
these
so
and just
select
try
the IK foot,
extruding
and select
out.
this.
We're going to
Control P.
like so.
And so now
We got our bill
Okay.
kind of look going. Now we're going to go into edge mode. Select this edge, put the mouse cursor below it, and press V. That will rip it, and we'll select this vert, and V can rip that away. So now these two are separate pieces. We're just going to delete
very
those
bad,
verts,
as far as
and
its movement.
all in all, we pretty much got our basic duck shape here for the bill. Now we got to do a little bit of shaping, but
Directly
that
C,
comes
directly over the Y.
with making it.
Okay, now we see some problems. So Alt J, let's put that
So
back.
we're just,
Let's
I'm just
go
grabbing
ahead
them
and
with
give my
G
D.
and just moving them
E,
up.
Y.
And
We'll remove the parent.
now
Again,
let's begin getting closure here.
we don't want that to be
I'm going to
influenced by
select
anything.
that.
We'll drag
I mean,
it
I'm going to hold
forward,
shift and
we'll
deselect that.
this.
Then I'm going to select this,
Well,
these
let's
in
go
the
to
front,
pose
1,
mode.
2, 3,
This bone selected.
and press
This bone,
H.
Shift I.
And we'll select those
Close
and
bone.
press H.
Now
Now
see
we're gonna
that
focus
there's
on
some
composing
issues.
its
Let's
mouth.
lower it down to 1.
Now that we've
And now
opened it.
all that this does
So,
is affect the direction.
Just dragging these verts out.
And that's how.
Like I said, there's no
Now, you
real
can set this
rules
up
we're
with
going
all
along
target
with here.
that
We
just
are a
a better one,
success
and
as
it's a lot
if
quicker
we
to
make a
just do it
duck
like that.
with intentions on making a duck, I suppose.
So now,
So these rim verts I'm just bringing
Basic.
around, and we want to create
duck
a little
foot
bit of
bill.
a crease.
We'll tap into edit mode and pull this out some. So
And we got a pretty good looking bill going already. I'd like
Now
to
let's
add a little
now we can make this a lot
extra
more
volume
smoother,
to the top, just to
dynamic of a rig.
be able
got
to
a lot
add
more
some
complex
details. So
with it,
we'll
but we're just
control
gonna keep it
R
simple,
loop cut.
just for the sake
We'll
of
put it
tutorial.
about right
Click
there.
here.
Let's turn off our
So
select
actually,
division cage
select the duck. Let's select
and
this
see
edge
how it
loop,
looks.
shift
And
S,
the
cursor
thing is,
selected,
when you have the cage on, it looks really good. But you can cause some
Shift A.
pinching if you don't
and that puts a bone.
watch how
on
you
the
have it
cursor.
actually aligned without
So we're just gonna drag
the
that
modifier
over.
on. So just be sure to
And
check
align it
whenever
on
you're
all
modifying. I mean,
views.
whenever you're working in this, you don't want to
So
stretch
ahead,
verts, or else it will cause some issues with animating.
Subdivided.
So
lines.
we got our basic shape here.
One
We
should
should
be
be
enough.
refining, but
And
let's
since we
Alt
built it
H
with
and bring back
refining,
what we
can
took
also have
away.
the bone point away. And like I said,
Now,
really help with the
right here,
weight painted portion.
let's press V and just.
Now, I want to take
let's
this
see.
and extrude it down.
There's the vert. Let's press V and just
that's
disconnect
like
that.
You know, the shoulder location. I mean, the shoulder portion of the bone. So
And Control Plus.
you
I'm just
want
growing
to
my. I just selected
parent
this
that also
row
to
using
this.
Alt click, and I just Control Plus, and now I'm hiding that
So,
too.
Pose mode.
So deselect that, hide the
Alright.
rest, and we
Let's
got our
make sure
bottom
this
build to
is
look
also
at. Now our
parented to
bottom
this
build
bone.
does look a bit off. So
Now we should have been naming this stuff.
we want the
as
build to
we
look
went,
smaller,
but
like a duck, or like a cartoony
we'll
duck,
do-
which is
this
what we're
will
going
do.
for.
Now we want to have this one
All right, and
select
those
just
two,
moving them in
or
ever so
Let's
slightly
press Control Shift Alt
before we
C,
finally
or Control
and
Shift
begin
C, pulling it
and
all together.
choose
Z to go on wireframe, B to box select, and we want this to be about right there. Let's move
track
that up.
2.
Let's move that up, and let's move that up as well. Now we'll add a loop cut about right there, and press Control R.
C.
We're going to bring that
Track
down, bring this down. We're going to Alt H, unhide everything. Go back into solid view, and we got our duck shape going. So
And we could probably get a little more
we're gonna-
versatility out of this if we subdivide it. And we should probably join over here, but I'm trying to
understand
One
exactly
away.
what is happening here.
This bone is controlled by this bone.
Ducks in the way.
This bone will
All
bend
right.
to accommodate that.
Now we
bone.
can select
So
this, and
like
this.
that,
These
that.
four. Press Shift
And
and put
I.
them together, and that will look awful.
Chain one. To one. And what do we got?
Let's try just deleting this face.
Really, the easiest
And
way to find and figure out bones
one,
is to
two,
just play with
three,
them.
We will just stick
four.
with that. That is simpler, and looks like I
more
might have a
myself for
pole
me.
down here.
So
Give me a
we'll
moment.
make sure that deforms off.
And this is a big part of modeling.
On
Is
this one,
just
we'll make sure it deforms off.
dealing with. I don't know. I kind of look at like
Basically,
basically
for
Sudoku
this,
because
we
you
haven't
gotta
compared it to
figure out
anything yet,
exactly
so
how it's supposed to go
this
in order to
bone,
get
this
the
bone,
the effect that you
keep
want.
offset.
Now let's
So
go 1,
one,
2,
two,
3, 4.
Wait for that.
That's we'll join those, and now
this one.
we need to join here. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And this one.
We'll try moving that over. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and F. And now we got a nice, nicer jaw lower appearance to our duck bill. Now we're not going to be focusing hard on the mouth in the video, so we're just going to grow our selection and hide. Now we just got our bottom bill again, face body, and we're going to select this one, this vert, and this vert. Not this vert, but these two.
We'll just call it
E,
shoulder.
Y. No, E, X, L. Put those in the middle.
We'll call
And
this
we got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got a good closure here. Happy ending. Alt H, bring it back. And now we just need to close the mouth. So it appears we don't have enough edges to close it. If we look at the we look at it up here, we got 1, 2, 3, and if we look at the bottom, we got one, and that's it. So let's go ahead and fix that. Choose edge. We're going to select this edge, and this, and this edge. And this is just something I've noticed when working in mirror mode. If you press W, we can create another edge loop without creating quads because we brought this edge and this edge over to this edge, then subdivided it. So it also mirrored it all the way around, and we created, I guess, what is a C loop? If I'm correct on that.
names here for somebody.
So
because,
now we're just patching up our duck. And if we look right here, we see that
we'll call this
something is off. And that is that we might need to
think
add
it's funny to
one
call
more
it
loop
loop
just to accommodate that
Alright,
area.
now,
So select
off the
this,
screen,
this, and this, W,
switch them over
subdivide.
to B bone.
Now,
We're
if
just
we
going to
merge
do some cosmetics
this
on this.
edge and this edge,
Alright,
we got
so
a smooth
for this bone,
transition, and if we go into vertex mode, we got
Vertex
1,
is
2, 3, 4.
Control
And bam,
Shift
we
S,
can end it
or
with a quad. So this is an all
Control
quad
S,
duck head with no triangles or any of that stuff to make it look bad. So a little more work on the bill here.
S, it will allow you to scale it. So we're going to scale that one along the X.
And
S, C.
you know, the duck's head seems a bit wide, so we're going to select these vertices on the edge and bring that in some.
For what they're used
And
for.
we're going to have to do it with these so he doesn't have a block head,
This one.
and these so he doesn't have a cone head. And I'm just, you know,
This one
shaping
I've
his head
realized
to
we
look
should
like
have
I want it to
because
or
it
need
gets
it to
annoying.
for this.
And this one because what
Now,
it does.
right here, we're going to select
Can
this,
pretty much
we're going to bring it in a little bit.
We're going to just scale some of these down.
Maybe these three we can bring over.
And,
you know,
since
you're
we
not,
got
this isn't
these
really a
bones
follow
set
along
up,
as much as it
we're
is
gonna
just
go
showing
ahead
just
and
my
turn on to
workflow.
segments.
But
Segments will allow
this
us
is
to
also the first thing
do a
I've
little
ever
bit of
created
deformities out of
a shape key rig
than
for.
normal.
So that's the goal of
Just
this.
gonna add
Alright, now, right
two
here,
to
we're
B.
going to select this edge, this edge, this
And to
edge,
the
and this
wing,
edge. W,
We're also
subdivide.
add two
Shift tab, go into vertex mode, X,
And
delete vertice.
maybe just
And we got
one.
his eyes right here at the end. We'll add another loop cut,
And we can move to 10
just so it
easily.
doesn't look so stretched. And
Tap back into edit
hold
mode,
alt,
and we're just
click
gonna
these
go back
verts,
to our
press space, choose sphere. Now we got
work of
a
skipping
nice
bones.
little duck head. Now,
It doesn't really matter.
you want to
about
expand it
going
out.
step.
You want to drag this
I just find
over,
that it
move
keeps
these
the,
verts up, and just
rig looking
basically just shape it to
less
accommodate
riggish.
the eyes. Eyes I have a real hard time with in 3D, but I'm getting better at it through persistence. But hopefully this one will turn out a success and not be a rubbish video that I have to delete. And hopefully my computer doesn't freeze and the quality comes out looking good. Now we've only been on this for about 17 minutes, but we've made some major leeway. So let's drag this duck's eyes back in. We're going to select these verts at the front and drag those back. We're going to select that and soften it by moving it around a bit to decrease the amount of stress on these right here. Because we come out and look at
It's a good
it,
challenge for the brain.
it all looks pretty
So
good.
we got our
except
duck
for,
rig set up.
you
We can
know,
go ahead
some
and pause
pinching in
this
there.
so I can
That's what subsurface for,
get the next part done.
to make it
Hey guys,
softer
Master
on the
Xeon
eyes
here.
and not have it
Alright,
feel like
now
it's been
today
chiseled
we're
out
going
of
to be
wood.
continuing back on part 2 of modeling the duck, or I guess now today is going to be rigging the duck. So basically, in I believe there's another segment before this that should include how I actually
Now,
got these bones here.
I guess while I'm just
but basically,
shaping here, I'm currently reading a
we're going
book
to
called
pretend
Blender
as if,
2.5
already
Lighting
know
and
that
Rendering,
I
and
went over and created all these in the
it is
last
a
video.
pretty
I'm
good
certainly
book,
hoping.
definitely worth a read.
Now we're just going to
if any of y'all
select
are,
this bone.
you know,
Press
reading
Shift
about
C,
Blender as well.
Shift S, cursor selected,
W.
press period.
Now I
which
just
puts
extruded
3D cursor,
and scaled it down some,
Z to
and
go
I'm just
in
going W,
wireframe, A.
merge at
We're going
center,
to press B,
and
box
that might
select
not
all
be
of this.
the best choice. 1, 2,
We're
3,
in
4,
edit
5,
mode,
6.
and we're going to
Alright, we're just going to
D,
select these, F,
and then
select these, F,
X,
select these,
negative
F, and select these,
Enter.
F. I'm trying to train myself to have only quads in my models. It's a bit of a challenge sometimes, and I've come to find that sometimes triangles are useful. Now we're going to save
That
this.
should do it. Let's press
Shift
W,
S,
choose
and we're going to call
flip
this
names. And now we see that these are all .R's
tutorial.
over here. So we're already in pretty good
Alright.
shape.
Now,
and it looks like all our constraints
what I'm
are
hoping
still
for
in place
is
when I jump
if
into
this
pose
is a
mode,
success,
which is also good.
I'm going to come back
That
and
means
use
we
the
can
duck
grab
as
our
a
duck
way
by his
of
foot controller.
just doing
and
some
pretty
things with
much we can
animation. Like I'd like to,
move
you know,
as
work
we
with
see
y'all
fit.
on making a basic model
Now,
and
we
just
could have made a
use
way
it
better rig for
in
this
various
and went about it
animations.
a couple
So
different ways, but
now I might
I
move fast
feel that
without
this
saying
is
anything.
sufficient.
I'm sorry
Now,
about that. I'm going to select this right in the center.
a couple things to
Delete
note
it.
here. I do have
And now
segments,
we have what is
which
gonna be
are,
his
of
neck.
course,
Now,
Under here,
our
under
duck's not
form
gonna have
options, you
as
can
long
choose
of a neck
segments.
as
I
these
put it
two
at 3 just so
pictures.
the arms will have kind of
But
a
as we can see, we
looser
got the
kind of
basic
look to
idea
it.
down.
And
But if anyone
also
looked
the
at
weight
this,
painting is
would
something I
say,
feel like I could have done a little better on.
duck.
But for the sake of
Alright.
the tutorial,
So
we will just skip that.
let's
and
hold Alt. Click right there.
continue.
Select
Now,
all the vertices.
sorry if y'all
and
are
we're gonna
having issues with
extrude
my voice.
down.
Like I said, I'm a little under the weather.
Bring it in on
But
the X.
nothing will make me feel better than
SZ0, flatten it on the
fantastic
Z.
program. Alright,
And
so we're gonna Shift Tab. Let's
now
go into
these
object
right
mode.
here,
We're gonna select
I just want to move
the
up some.
body.
Just so
make
it has
sure
a
there's no
cleaner neck.
modifiers like mirror, because that will mess up the armature. And then we're going to Control Tab.
And also, hopefully, we'll
Control,
have time in this video
I
to
mean
rig
Shift
it and
then
possibly animate
select.
it.
So we select the body.
And so I'm just
then Shift
extruding
select the
down
armature.
more.
Control
Let's
P.
check our
on
shape
that
here.
waves. And now we
Always hold
see
it for.
that if we go
Alright.
into this mode and we move around,
Let's continue. So we're just
we got some movement here.
killing along.
So
Just building
let's see
the
what we
basic
got.
shape of our ducky
yeah.
here.
Already looking bad. Looks like we're going to need to do some weight
No.
painting.
Let's see how many edges
out
we
local
got here.
mode.
Find out if we need
And-
to terminate. No, that's enough.
Excuse me.
So
We're going to go back over
just-
here. Control up to full scale it. Full screen it.
We're just gonna scale that in.
Go back into pose mode. Select everything. Alt-R, Alt-G.
Scale it in again.
And that'll put
Bring it
everything
up some
back the way it
more.
was. And
And
select the body. Let's jump into weight paint mode.
bring it
We're going to go ahead
over
and
here.
choose
And the body might be a little
over here.
I mean, the head might be a little big for the body. The body's a
That
little
way,
small
any
for the
changes we
head.
make on this side are reflected
Depends on how you
over
look
on
at
the
it.
other
Now,
side.
right here, we're
That
going to go
will
ahead and close this up.
Just make things much
The
easier.
way we're going to do that
Now,
is
all I
select
did
this
was
one
just grab
for
this
PX,
shoulder bone,
bring it
basically,
to the middle, one,
and drag it
two,
out so I
three,
can
four.
get a better look at
And the goal,
what
you know, is
influence
to
is
always end
affecting
your
right here.
open holes and
Now,
fours.
I just want to subtract a little bit off of it just to
And since all those vertices
I
at
just
the
think
end
it's a
are
bit
selected,
much that
just
we're
gonna
taking on
plus
there.
out. And just select that last one.
So we switch over to subtract.
And we're just
and
going to scale it ever so slightly. SX, SZ, scale it down. I'm going to select these and keep the neck slender. And we got a pretty nice duck going here. So let's
we're
keep
gonna
that thing
rub
going.
some of this out.
I'm going to scale these in over here.
Don't need to be completely
And
perfect.
finally for the feet. The feet are going to be easy.
This part,
Now,
you'll see.
we're going to tab in the edge mode.
Alt-G.
And we see that the feet are close to the back, so we will set it up right here, Z, and I'm just moving around a couple of verts just to get it in position for us to begin
We'll test it out here.
setting up some
the way it
legs.
looks as far as its
Alright.
painting.
Now,
Definitely looks a lot better.
Select this,
Now,
Shift tab
select
in the
this
edge
mode,
mode,
and we
select
see
this
our
edge,
influence is a little
that
lacking.
edge, and this edge.
So we'll choose this to
Now,
be add.
Subdivide
We're
with
just gonna
W,
add
subdivide,
small
Shift
influence
tab back to
to
vertex
this.
mode, and once again, delete that vertex. Alright, that might have been a big mistake. Let's add a few more divisions, just to make it where we're not putting tries in the neck area, or bad poles.
And let's look at this. That looks
Alright,
alright.
let's shift tab back into edit
Let's
mode,
do-
select this.
No.
Alright, we may need to set up some edges beforehand, so let's go here. We're going to select this, 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 and this. W, subdivide.
Now,
And that'll give us a little extra geometry just for
see
the leg area.
something coming
So
out
we're going
there.
to select these, W, subdivide.
So
And then now
let's get our
we can
subtractive
remove the vertices
adding.
to sphere. And let's go around its front view and see what we got.
Shape.
Right here, we could probably use a little more for just scale it. And as you see fit, I pressed SX0 because we're getting the business here. EZ, S, E, S. And we're just going to make
let's
it
see,
where
this
his
leg isn't
legs
looking right
come
either.
out of him a little bit.
So let's go back in the front view. And
So
just
we'll also add an edge loop in here and just smooth these out. Now we could select this W, smooth, 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 and select these W, smooth. I never tried this. I'm just thinking, what would Jonathan Williamson say right now? He'd be like, well, basically the topology. No, I'm kidding. Alright, let's continue. And we're just doing some cleanup work, making sure it looks good from all sides. And there we have it. So let's go back under here, select these verts, and press
Alright,
E,
we'll subtract
Z.
some from the foot. Now keep in mind that because we have
Z.
the topology mirror and so forth, that all the changes we make on one side
scale
are
them
being
up.
reflected on the other.
Base.
So it saves us
And we
a
see that
little bit of
it
time
may look a little
from
fat.
having to go through
on the
it.
Y, S1.
irritating task of doing it all over again. So,
And now for the feet. Now, I'm sure there's a much better way to do it than the way that I'm about to do it, but this is just the way that I did it.
and
We're going to press Control Shift Tab and select Vertex, and we're going to press. We're going to select these two edges on that side and these two edges. Master Xeon here, back.
Alright, we'll add that back.
I don't know why I had to reintroduce myself, but basically I had been overthinking the foot, so let's have a go at this again. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is
And that will do.
expand
So
this
we're
back
gonna
up
save this
all the way to here and delete it from there. And we're going to select this ring right here, which is the start of my problem. Hit space.
Alright.
And go to sphere again.
And
So now we got this shape.
we look around.
So we E, Z, scale, E, scale again, G,
triple matrix
up,
top.
E again,
In fact, we
S.
can rotate us.
And
Alright,
we're just-
the 3D cursors cause a little bit of an issue. Yeah, we got it. So Shift A, Alt G, Alt R.
Alright, and we're just giving our ducks
And we got
legs.
it.
Now,
So now
in
what
front
we're
view,
gonna
I'm
do
just press
is,
2 to
go
begin
ahead
tilting it
and
back.
select
And I'm going to select 1, 2,
these
3,
eyes.
4. And 1,
then
2, 3,
select
4.
This, well, put these into pose
Hit it
mode.
finally 1, 2,
Control
3,
tab.
4.
Select this eye.
And we got our
Select this
duck
button and choose
stops
Control
now.
P.
So
Boom.
we'll pull down this.
Now,
And we'll
anytime
select
that you move
1,
your head,
2, 3, 4.
the eyes are
X,
parented. And
faces.
you can attach it to the mesh and do it like
Vertex
that too,
mode.
but
Let's just drag these back
I
up.
try to keep it simple. And if
Let's
we render
drag
out a
this
quick
one
picture,
out. Now we're going to hold Alt and click this vert to select this whole
you see
row.
that the chicken looks like
C,
something choking
Y.
on.
And that's definitely a
because of these
much
rows
better,
right here.
easier low poly foot than the one I was trying to go for before, where I was going to put the webbing in. But we're just going to skip the webbing for the sake of simplicity on this.
Looks a little better. Let's give them a ton.
Alright,
That's gonna
now we're
drive
going
me
face
crazy.
mode. We'll just select these and
Alt
drag it
A, Alt
out.
G,
Now
Alt
they're
R.
looking pretty bad as far as
And we're
shading.
gonna
That's
just
because we need to add
Go to local mode.
a loop cut and another loop cut and maybe just one more. And we see that we got
Go
a
to
nice
edit mode.
duck that's about 2,000 poly so far. 2,000 fruit so far. So let's continue.
There. Those
Now we
two
need to make his wing.
will be our foundation tile.
Easiest way would be to
So,
select
let's
this
shift
one,
D,
this one, this
P,
one, this one, W,
Z,
subplat.
Go find it.
And that
And
seemed
here
to
we
have
have
worked
it.
out
We have
better
removed that
since we started densing up
Except
the
right now
geometry
it's just
here.
plain.
If we
We're
kept
gonna
it simple, it would be a
extrude
little
it
more
on the
difficult.
Y,
Hold Alt, select this ring, space, to
rotate it
sphere.
back.
And we're just
I mean, we
going
could have left
to
him without a tongue. He could have been like, the duck that you don't need too much or something.
Control that mesh
But-
dress.
No.
Alright, now we got a pole here.
And that's basically it. Like, I'm not
I
going
think that
to go into a
will
whole
make
lot of
it.
work for designing
I
a
don't think there's a
time.
lot of deformation going
But
on
we are
there.
just going to give him just a little one, so
And-
that way,
Now we're on the
Yeah.
top view. We're just going to E,
you know,
R,
if he
Z,
speaks, he has something to speak with.
E. Get
Alright.
it from the side.
Let's
S,
look at
Z.
our color, and it looks good.
Select this one.
Now we're
S,
going to take
Z,
that and select that,
and
shift,
S,
J,
X.
go back out, and if we select our head and move it,
S, Y, 0. S,
And let's
X,
see, let's, change this
S,
to
back
that.
out. And I'm just trying to prevent my vertices from getting twisted, but it appears that
Okay, so we got
they're
some
already
weight paint
starting
issues
to,
also.
collide the mesh,
Beach area.
or they're starting to
Let's see
collide
how bad it is.
themselves. So let's go in and just straighten that out before we extrude anymore.
Mm-hmm. Might not be
Select this
terribly
vert,
bad.
move it over, select that vert, move it
Still
over.
going nonetheless.
And we're just opening up those arms.
Alright, and we'll go to subtract. Let's
Now-
maximize this window, and
We could put feathers and all of that, but that would be a completely different tutorial, and that would be more about texturing than
there we go.
the goal here,
And I
which is
just went to
create just a
local mode
simple
with that
duck,
last bone
rig it,
selected,
and animate
and
it
I'm just
without too much effort. 1, 2. Alright, let's start merging. Alright, let's see, we got 8 verts, so we can 1, 2, 3, 4 it. And we can 1, 2, 3, 4 it. And then we can 1, 2, 3, 4 it. And we got our wing closed, they're
Alright,
off to
then
the
same thing
side.
here.
You don't want
Obviously,
it too
upper
attached
beak
because when
influences
we rig it,
weight.
weight painting can be a little
What
bit
is
of
it,
a pain.
We don't want to
So
find this part
if you
of
can
the face.
avoid some of it by just
We don't
modeling
want to find
it
that
in a
ourselves.
peaceful looking pose that's easy to separate out and paint, then you're already a step ahead of the game. So I'm just selecting random verts and just dragging it down to get more of the shape of the wing. And we'll put a loop here and another loop there, dense it up. And now let's do some eyes. Our duck needs to see. So tab and edit mode. We'll select this vert,
Let's,
cursor selected,
Control tab,
shift
save
A,
it.
add mesh,
Hate losing
UV
stuff.
sphere, lower this to 12, raise this to, lower that to 12, control
And
1,
since we weight painted
R,
it, it definitely
tab,
looks
R,
a
X,
lot
9,
better
0,
when he opens his mouth.
and we'll scale it down to fit in the
Is
eye
that a
region.
shadow or a crease? Let's find out.
And as you can see, once you put the eyes, you start to see that the mesh really does need a little more work. So we're just working it around the eye. We don't want it to be bulging off the bat. We make it bulge when he's like, a pretty duck or something. I don't think duck's eyes bulge either. I don't know. I don't spend enough time out in nature to be checking out ducks. Alright, now we got our one-eyed duck. Let's select that, hit smooth, hit 5 to go on perspective, and we'll just look it over. rotating duck.
Alright, we'll
Alright.
select this bone.
That looks pretty good.
And then go back in
So now what we're going to do is
isolate it.
select
and
this,
let's
or
move that
we're going to select the
out.
eye.
Subtract.
We're going to make it white.
And voila.
And then we're going to select this
And let's add
and delete it.
tongue.
We're going to select this. And we're just going to pull that in.
More so in its
and we're gonna
rightful
pull that
place.
in as well.
And the jaw's in a little bit of an extreme position, but
And this is just the way
that is
that
what it
model
takes
his
for,
eyes.
weight
I like
painting. Like weight
try
painting can be a
different
bit of a
things from
pain.
time to time.
But you just really
just to make
gotta
sure
just-
that
it's not something that can be done
there's
just
a better way.
extremely fast.
Which I'm sure there is.
At
I just
first.
haven't learned it yet.
You'll find some tricks
But
down the
in the
road,
meantime,
but
that's how we're going to be making
for the
it
most
today.
part, you just gotta chill and just let it.
Now we
just
zoom
do
in
what you
on
do.
this Aflac duck. He's just got
Alright.
black beady eyes, no soul. No soul. So we'll just stick with our idea. Now we'll tab into edit mode, select everything, or select it, cursor selected, add another sphere, UV sphere. Smooth
And
it.
that will
Okay.
work.
We're gonna add another sphere, UV sphere. Let's lower those sections down to 12.
So we select our bones, along our team, and now let's try our wings.
Alright, and we're just going to select these two and press / to go into local view. And Z. Now we see that this needs to be R, X, not 0. And that'll give it a better look. Add a subserve. That'll definitely give it a better look. And for these eyes, we don't need a whole lot of this, so we'll remove it. And that'll leave us just basically what you see in the eye. Select the middle vert, press Control plus to expand it. We're going to name this eye BLK. We're just going to make it black.
Alright, we're just painting
Sign
around
it.
here.
Specular.
Let's see if evened it up much. We can
Increase the
decrease
hardness.
And
Maybe raise the specular.
no, did not.
Just give it like a glossy kind of look. And then Control I, select the opposite, loose. Select 2 to make it single user, and we'll call this I.
We're just gonna add some more
Blue.
loopholes in here. I know
Alright. No.
I usually try to keep the geometry pretty light, but
Assign it.
and around some of these
And
deforming
we got
parts,
our eye. Almost.
they need
Now
the
Shift
extra
A.
geometry.
Add
Let it
one
go
last
to
icosphere.
first on that mode.
Segments 12.
At
Rings
12.
12.
Still
Smooth. Tab.
Alright.
R, X, not 0, of course. But we're just going to put that over his actual eye. Not so much that it's visible, but enough that it covers it.
I wonder why that one's still going in so bad.
We want to make it obviously a little larger than it, just in case of shrinkage or anything. We're going to select that, and we're going to call that, we're just going to call it eye gloss. The diffuse color is going to be white specular. We're going to make it a little off blue. Maybe a little twinge of blue won't hurt it too bad. And we're going to make it mirror.
Alright, we'll get rid of this edge
Reflective.
loop because I think it's
Transparency.
making it look
See,
bad
transparency.
over another view.
And we're going to go over here, add a new
And
cloud.
if we render it,
Turn off that,
Nothing.
turn off intensity,
tab on edit mode,
RGB
edit
intensity. And over here we're also
We
going to choose transparency. That way
so
we
there was an
can
edge
still see the
solution.
transparency even in 3D
Now,
view.
if we slash back in again, you
So
see
we'll
that.
get out of that mode and go back. We got our complex eye.
And if
Actually,
we
let's
get
go
out
back
of
in local view
mode
with
and
forward
once
slash one more
again,
time.
do it.
Now,
You see
I'm going to
that
select
I have it
this,
just about where I want to.
this,
I could probably keep
and
picking at
this,
it,
and
but we're just going
choose
to
join.
leave it right there. Now, we're going to go ahead and save.
We're going to join those two.
Gee,
And
everything's back to the
join.
way it was. Now,
those three.
let's go
So
ahead
now
and
we
set
got
up Shift C,
I.
Shift A,
And we'll select the duck, press Shift S, cursor selected,
G,
choose this, I, choose,
Or
and
we're
press
gonna do it
Control,
right there.
Shift, Alt, and C.
and this is just
Origin
a plane. It's
to
going to serve as
3D
like our
cursor.
board, basically.
Now we
for,
can take our eye
our
and
visual
there,
controller. So
clipping,
wire,
throw it up,
wire, so that
and
way
we
it
got
just looks
our
like
duck with
wire.
eyes.
And then Shift A,
Now,
plane.
let's press A,
tab,
select everything.
RX, 9,
I like to
0.
keep everything on the center
Scale it down.
plane, and we're going to press Shift A,
Tab to get out of that. Let's
Match
change
plane.
that to wire also.
create a plane,
And we'll call
and a
this
material,
lever. And we will
shadow,
call this
shadows only, and we'll transform this to a wire,
Alright.
wire.
For base controller.
We'll control
Now,
click and call this
What we're
floor.
going to want to do now is play with
And
our duck. So
we'll just turn
let's
off unselectable.
take our cute
And
little
we got our
guy,
floor here, but we can't see it or click it.
and go back to
Basically,
default.
and that's simple enough. Shift A. Now let's add it empty.
Select him,
Now,
select his eyes. On his
We're
little
going to
mouth.
start off with an area.
And we're just going to make some
We're
ducky
going to parent.
expressions.
We're going to
have
shift
it
select the
edit mode.
empty, Control T, track to constraint,
First, let's go over here.
and we're
Shift
going
keys.
to
There's
raise the
faces.
size of this
Now
quite
we're
a
going to add his
bit,
first face.
and we're
Now
going
let's
to put it
add
over
face.
here. One here, and one here. Actually, X. We're going to Alt D,
I'm
so
just
they're
using the
linked
proportional edging
duplicates.
tool
And we're just going to
to
lower
just deform his
our
head,
distance
where he
here
looks
so that it doesn't blow
So
out
just
our
grab these
duck.
two in the middle, put
And
it
now
down,
I'm
and
going to
just
do a
roll
slight twinge
it
of
all
blue, and that's pretty good. Now we add camera. Now these lights are going to be, I guess, our fill lights. So we want them behind the camera,
Let's see.
and it should give us a ring around the duck that's a nice, crisp color. Boy, those eyes look creepy, don't they? And we might got a bit strong on the blue. Alright, now Shift A, lamp, Hemi. Shift, select that, Control T,
And if we go out
track
of
to
edit
constraint.
mode,
Now the
we
Hemi,
see
we're just going
that
to put
nothing
off to the
really
side.
changes, but if we go
We're
down
going to
here,
lower the energy
and
down
play with our shape key,
substantially.
we see that
and
it
render
looks
it out.
happier when we slide it up. We'll call that.
And now we got this really nice rimlet duck. That is lacking quite a few materials, so it's looking bland, but I think it looks pretty good for the
angry duck.
amount of lighting and the minimal amount of tweaking we've had to do so far. Now I'm going to add a spot, and then I'm going to shift select it again, Control T, and we're just going to put this one here and bring it up. And this is actually the only one casting shadows, so we want to cast raise shadows, maybe 3. And let's see how
That's
that
one of my
looks.
favorite parts, by the way. I like playing with the model.
Alright, now
shape
we'll go in
keys to
top
come up
view,
with.
we'll lower this down to 0.75, Shift D,
Just a little more like that. So we got happy.
maybe on the eyes, we should
got
go
happy.
and take a look at eye gloss and consider
Angry.
lowering down some of the alpha and maybe raising the Fresnel, just so it doesn't have such a bad look to it. Let's look at it a little closer. Alright, now I want to work on those eyes a little bit more. For the eye color, Let's go over to texturing, new, we'll go to wood, rings, and we want his mapping to be let's go into front view, period, Z, everything, U, unwrap, or U, project from view. Now we
Sorry
can...
about the lack of commentary here. I just think it's pretty obvious what I'm doing.
set this to map to
now we got our
UV.
4 basic keys here. I think that's enough. I was planning to get a little more detail.
Let's see how it looks in render view.
I'll leave that to y'all. I think 4 will be enough for what I'm planning on doing with this.
This view. Alright.
Now, let's select.
And then we want to maybe add...
Right click on, let's choose happy. Right click.
For eye color. Let's add one more texture. This might be a bit much just to, make a duck, but every bit does count.
And then
we'll use this texture as a blending value for the next texture. Put it above it, and
so if we expand down key, we see we got our values here that we chose to set up drivers for.
Let's see, colors.
Now, if I'm doing this
brightness.
wrong, forgive me. I've only been playing with this part for about a week. So, this is just what I've done so far. We're going to choose happy. We're going to change this from
and we're just twinging it until we have it looking like some, basic, just distorted, like kind of,
we're going to choose...
I can't really, everybody knows what eyes look like though, and we're just trying to get a little bit better of a look with it. Now, for the eye color, we're not getting a lot of, for eye gloss, we want to...
And see, now that we have it
turn
set up
on
like that,
translucency.
it
let's see if that gets us a better look on the eyes. The eyes still look really dull and shadowed.
What expression he has.
So
we can choose to, let's see, y equals 0 plus 1.
And we're still on the eye gloss, so
y equals 2. Let's try it. And as you can see, it's...
let's tab into edit mode and find out what this first material is selecting. Select. Alright, and that's just the basic color of the eye. Now we want to drag it up a little bit.
Alright, and what we're doing here is just choosing
a bit of an emit value.
Basically,
we're just
how far we're taking this.
Playing around here, seeing if we can get some wider eyes.
Take it all the way to here to make that face, or do we want to take them all the way to here? Which is off the screen, but you get the idea. So that does it for that one.
We'll jump that up to 7. We don't want them lighting up, but we do want them definitely there. And that looks pretty good. We got some pretty nice eyes going here, so let's get out of that. Now, we're still not done with the modeling. Our duck still lacks the holes and nose. So let's go ahead and give them nose. We'll select edge and go with 1. Let's think about this. Select this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. W, subdivide. Alright, now we got a more pronounced beak line going.
There we go. Now I think we need one more.
Voila.
Facial
A little too...
just so we can have it go 4 directions like
let's try to relieve some stress here. Why is it showing that at the top? Alright.
Select his face.
Under can be weird sometimes.
Actually, with the eyes. Go to local
now
mode.
we'll select these verts just to shape back and bring them up, while selecting this vert at the bottom and bringing that down along with that one. And we got a pretty nice looking duck.
Let's see.
So we render that out. Yeah. Maybe there's some more work needing to be done under this bill, or is just something wrong with the shading there.
Excuse me, guys. Alright, and this video is starting to get
Let's
pretty
go
long,
into
so
it again.
I hope we get this on the way. I just had to think for a minute.
Boy, it's starting to
what
look
kind
like
of
a
face
dodo.
I wanted to use for it.
Where is that look coming? Okay,
Let's see.
here we go. This is why his nose looks fat. It's because it is fat.
Maybe just too squinty.
So I'm just tabbing in edit mode and just dragging down some verts here. Still a little mesh dress here, so let's relieve that. Now we got that signature bend in the middle, and it looks a lot better. Render it out, and we see that there is still a hump right there.
And we'll call
Yeah,
this
so it
one.
takes a lot of tweaking just to, get it to look the way you want.
It's probably back to 0.
But persistence is the key in modeling.
Let's go back to our first
The
view.
longer you mess with a model,
And
the better
let's
it
finish.
comes out looking.
So we did happy and angry.
Even
Those one
though
was
sometimes
X.
at the beginning it
One
looks
was
nothing
one
like
negative,
what you're
one was
wanting it to
positive.
be.
So now we're going to do it on the
So
Z.
I have a serious problem sticking with the same blend
Z.
file. Like I think last year I made about
Some values. Little space.
500 blend files a month of just stuff I made to say
already
never
getting
planned on going back to. So this year my
we
goal
should
is to
do
reuse
three.
my assets,
So that
or
way-
create reusable assets, I guess. So we'll pull out a way,
Let's see.
GZ,
0.4. Alright, that'll work perfect. Now, for final ones, Quint.
Alright, now we'll render one more time. And that is the duck I think I'll be using today. Save it. Last time I was doing a tutorial on a pineapple, did not say big mistake. Lost it right at the very end. Alright, now these legs look a little uniform, so we're just going to stretch them in a little bit, give them a more cartoony look. And that should do it for the modeling portion. Now for the materials. Materials are going to be easy and super fast because this is mainly about the rigging. The rigging is what I want to use, what I want to do the most on this. So let's assign a material. I guess we'll make his default yellow feathers. We'll give it a specular highlight of a orange. Increase the intensity but lower the hardness. They are feathers after all.
A sort of
And
array
we'll add
of facial
another
expressions.
texture. The
This is
clouds
a
will
duck, it's a
do.
lot more simpler
We'll
than
turn that down.
if you're doing a human,
to the
but
intensity.
that will do it for the second part.
And
Now
we got it.
we're going to just
You can't tell here,
show
but
just the
in the
duck by
render
himself.
it'll make a big difference. Now,
And just for the
what kind
sake
of color should we
of
get here? We'll just still
just
his
playing
color.
around, we're going
And
to create a basic
For his
little
highlights,
animation,
we'll
and then
also
we're just gonna
still
type
the color
the,
from the highlights.
keys.
And
So
unfortunately, this is
let's go ahead.
the results we get,
Let's
which
just
I think actually look pretty good, except he looks a little burnt. Maybe we texture him with feathers, but let's continue. Now the feet are selected. We'll just call this base body. And sorry about the audio. I plan on getting a mic soon, but I haven't done so yet. Alright,
We'll
now
add here in a
we're
minute.
going to create a new material.
What I did was I think I put one to settings a little too high.
We'll call
This
this
one's causing some issues there.
legs.
Now, we're just going to go into edit
and
mode
beak.
in object
And we're
mode
going to just
and
turn that
write us up
orange
a 20 frame
red,
animation of a walk cycle. So
try
give it
to
a
keep
keyframe.
the same color orange.
Save it again.
Put it on normals, change this to B-spline, and that should do.
Move
We
forward
want it to have a
frames.
slight
Rotate.
pinkish kind of specular highlight, and we're going to hit assign. And we're going to go up here. Now this part is kind of hard, but you'll know if you got it wrong because we're applying materials. We're just going to go into face mode, press C, and just select all that is the beak. Alright, there's one in there, and in there, and we see that we missed a multitude of them in here.
Let's see what we got so far.
Alright, and
Alright. 1, 2. Was it 1, 2, 3,
and
4, 5?
now we have our duck with its basic materials, and I almost forgot why these cuts were put there.
G there, and make sure
Because right about here,
now
good
this is
place
just
to
goofing off, like this is
pinch
the
up his
animation
face
portion
and
of
make
this
him look
tutorial.
bad, so let's
So,
not do that.
There's not really
But
a lot
what we
of
will
ratio,
do
just playing around with
is
keyframing.
go to face mode, select this, and we're just giving him, I was trying to find the best place to put this, but this will be as good as any. Alright, and this is probably the part where my topology is bad, because I know there's a lot better way we could have done this than this, but we wait till the very end to do this. Face, X, face, vertex. We'll move that one over. Let's go into side view and see how it's handling that. And I'm just basically just making sure the vertices are kind of following the angle that we've developed on the beak. So select that ring, E, S, C,
This frame, this one is Alt G, Alt R,
and we got a duck. So we render it out.
Alt G, Alt R, got out of place. And right here, Alt G, Alt R, then right here. Let's see, where are we messing up here? Alright, so we got this one, then it goes out like that, then becomes like that. So let's just copy, back up 5, paste, and now we've got this simple animation that for some reason took super long to make. I think that's because of me not being at my best. And we'll select these two, go on local mode, and we're just playing around, and if we move our rig, we can get all sorts of facial expressions out of them. Alright, and that looks like he has some serious Tourette's. So, we will leave it at that, and I will be back for the final part, which is animating, and we can then do some playing with particles and anamorphic glare. Happy blendering.